Because even, yes, Floyd didn't have the punching power Gervonta had, but even if Gervonta lands, I don't see him hurting Jake to the point he knocks him out.
This shit, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah.
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
Maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
Oh, he's so small.
So small.
Jake Paul was visibly surprised after watching Gervonta Davis's intense, almost intimidating training footage. Still, he stayed upbeat and focused on his own journey. Paul acknowledged Davis's talent and skill, but emphasized that his personal growth, preparation, and mindset give him confidence. He explained that maintaining a positive attitude and strong self-belief has fueled his 5 years of relentless training and steady progress. Paul also mentioned that through all his sparring sessions, he's never been knocked out, a fact that boosts his confidence ahead of the upcoming fight. For him, stepping into the ring isn't just about physical ability. It's about proving that unwavering belief and discipline set him apart.
Don't mind. Good, run it off. Yes, sir. My hat. Yeah. Oh.
One of the biggest hurdles preventing a potential fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul is the significant weight difference between the two. Davis has made his name dominating the lighter divisions, using his speed and explosive power to overpower opponents his size. Jake Paul, in contrast, carries a naturally bigger frame and usually competes around the cruiserweight limit. For analysts and fans, the issue isn't just a few pounds, it's a major gap that makes this matchup difficult to imagine. When fighters are separated by that much weight, technique alone isn't enough. Extra size comes with advantages in strength, durability, and the ability to absorb punches. Because of this, many see the fight as more of a spectacle concept than a realistic event. No matter the hype, promoters must consider the serious risks that come when a naturally smaller fighter steps into the ring against a much larger opponent.
There's no way in hell this fight was ever gonna happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on, guys, like, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans, you understand this. This fight was never gonna happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You could still purchase them online. And the fight is still listed on the State Farm Arena event.
Adding fuel to the buzz, fresh reports claim that Georgia declined to host Gervonta Davis, prompting Jake Paul to redirect his training and event plans toward Miami. This situation highlights just how unpredictable and complex negotiations for major exhibition fights can be. When approving high-profile boxing events, state commissions don't just look at the financial upside, they also consider regulations, potential risks, and how the event might impact their reputation. For Davis, being turned away by Georgia is a reminder that his name brings both star power and controversy. For Paul, on the other hand, relocating to Miami fits perfectly with his strategy of keeping the spotlight on himself and the spectacle. The move doesn't just alter the fight's logistics, it shifts the atmosphere entirely. Miami has become a go-to destination for celebrity fight events, so the change guarantees plenty of attention, while also exposing how fragile and unpredictable these promotional efforts can be.
Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul both let everybody know that the location for their exhibition fight has changed from Atlanta to Florida. And let me tell you, it wasn't because Jake Paul just woke up in the morning and decided that he was going to change the venue. No, It was because of politics, once again, getting in the way of a Gervonta Davis fight. The amount of times that local small politicians play around with Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis's fights is at the point of being ridiculous right now. There is no way without coercion that this many venues, that Gervonta Davis has this many problems with venues. But this time, it wasn't a problem with the venue. It was a problem with the state of Georgia. Now, before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks of the videos like this. It's a little $ by a comment. And thank you to my guy that did it yesterday with the big $5 holler. Thank you so much, man. I'll thank you directly in the video. But let's get to this because I'm sick of this, man. Every single solitary time, well, over the last 2 years, pretty much, and I'm saying this because I believe this to be true, pretty much since Gervonta Davis started having an argument with Turkey.
Former world champion Chris Algieri shared his admiration for Jake Paul's impact on today's boxing scene. He explained that regardless of whether Jake wins or loses, his influence on the sport's promotion is undeniable. According to Algieri, Paul has managed to reach audiences that traditional fighters often couldn't, drawing in a completely new wave of fans who previously had little interest in boxing. Paul's events go beyond the ring. He's turned his fights into mainstream spectacles, blending sports and entertainment. He's also managed to convince well-known fighters, including big draws like Gervonta Davis, to share the spotlight with him. This combination of star power and crossover appeal has created a unique environment where boxing merges with celebrity culture, attracting viewers who might never have paid for a boxing event otherwise. Algieri argues that this promotional savvy shouldn't be overlooked just because Jake Paul isn't a world champion. In fact, it highlights how the sport's growth often relies on bold figures who are willing to mix athletic competition with showmanship.
But it's mostly win-win for him.
Right. So what does Gervonta Davis?
Whoa, hold on.
I gotta respond. That's what I want, Chris. Go ahead.
I didn't even get to talk.
Please.
So, what has he done for the sport? I mean, manufactured or not, he went out there and he performed and he got knockouts and people tuned in. Boxing fans tuned in. And you can talk about that shoe fight and that shoe. They're not boxing fans. Gervonta Davis sold pay-per-views to boxing fans. And he got boxing fans to come to fights, which is so needed. Desperately needed in this day and age.
They marketed him that way. You can market anybody. You can market it that way. You can market it that way. And champ, you should know better because you and I were very marketable and never got any marketing except as opponents for high-level fighters. And you should know that. They talk about great white hypes and all this other stuff. No, that's absolutely not true. They manufacture what they want to manufacture. Shakur Stevenson can be marketable. He's not ghetto enough. Andre Ward was very marketable. He's not ghetto enough. Why do black fighters only get marketed when they're quote-unquote ghetto, when there's class guys who you can market as great examples? Shakur Stevenson, Andre Ward, so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm saying it. People complain because I'm too real, and I'm going to be honest. Why could Ray Leonard be manufactured as a... I don't even want to use the word manufacturer because Ray Leonard actually was legit.
Great fighter.
But Ray Leonard promoted as the class guy, and it worked. Why could you do it back then, but now you can't do it? Andre Ward was gold medalist the same way. Class, could speak, mature, poised, could fight his ass off. Why didn't you market him the way you marketed Ray Leonard? What happened between 1976 and 2004? Why are you marketing Why are you marketing only Thug Life? Why? And I'm not saying, okay, I wasn't a part of this because I was a big fan of the hip-hop gangster rap generation and all this other stuff. But as a 44-year-old, you start to realize the concept of the entire scope of things. Why are you not marketing guys like Shakur Stevenson more? Why are you marketing this guy who doesn't want any of the smoke? Shakur has wanted all the smoke. This guy doesn't want any.
Boxing analysts are split when it comes to comparing Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. One camp argues that the size gap between them is simply too wide to make for a fair or competitive matchup. They believe this is why any potential meeting would likely be framed as an exhibition rather than a sanctioned fight that affects official rankings. The issue with exhibitions, critics add, is that they often lack genuine consequences, making it harder to keep fans invested over time. On the other hand, Many believe that Davis's superior speed, sharp technique, and high-level ring IQ would allow him to dominate Jake Paul despite the physical disadvantage. Supporters of this view point to Davis's experience against world-class opponents compared to Jake's relatively shallow resume. In their eyes, Davis's quick movements and precision punching could make Jake look out of his depth, turning the fight into a showcase of skill over size.
Before I say any comment about it, my question is, what's the rules? And like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah,
You know,
big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's gonna eat his.
I thought
guts.
Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed.
No, that
more,
was actually getting.
That
sounded
the
more
craziest
interesting.
idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that.
What is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we don't punch each other in the jaw.
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so
not
they
very
can get away
interesting
with
to
it.
me.
No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah.
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
Maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
Oh, he's so small.
He's so small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person and he's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person.
I've worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Well, Floyd
dude.
likely has shoes on there.
Oh, dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small. Wow.
Sonnen, never one to hold back his opinions, shared his perspective on Jake Paul's latest move. He pointed out that Paul caught many by surprise when he shifted his focus from Anthony Taylor, who most expected to be next, to Gervonta "Tank" Davis. According to Sonnen, Davis is an exceptional fighter, but he isn't naturally skilled at promoting events or generating mainstream buzz. Jake Paul, by contrast, has built his reputation not just through fighting, but by mastering the art of self-promotion. Sonnen explained that Jake understands how to create storylines that capture public attention, turning fights into full-blown media spectacles. His argument is that Davis brings sporting credibility through his elite skills, while Jake supplies the promotional power needed to make the matchup a major event. In Sonnen's view, this dynamic functions like a partnership. One side offers world-class fighting ability, the other delivers unmatched marketing savvy. Without both elements working together, the fight wouldn't have reached its current level of hype and attention.
It is the exact opposite of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for 2. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay, so there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite. He could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay. Now, Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport.
Some boxing analysts argue that while Gervonta Davis is famous for his devastating knockout power at lightweight and super featherweight, that power might not carry over effectively against someone Jake Paul's size. They point out that Paul's naturally bigger frame gives him a level of toughness and resistance that could neutralize Davis's usual impact. In the lighter divisions, Davis's punches often break opponents down quickly. However, against a much larger fighter, those same shots may not deliver the same damage. The core of this argument comes down to basic physics. Size and weight can act as a natural barrier. While skill can bridge many gaps, there's a limit to how much technique can offset a physical disadvantage. This skepticism supports the belief that a Davis versus Paul matchup leans more toward being a spectacle than a pure sporting contest, since the size difference could give one fighter too much of an edge for the other's strengths to truly shine.
The Gervonta fight makes no sense to me because yes, Floyd didn't have the punching power Gervonta had, but even if Gervonta lands, I don't see him hurting Jake to the point he knocks him out. So what are we even doing? Where's the idea of this where's the idea that Gervonta's even gonna hurt him? He may hurt him to the body, whatever. Jake doesn't want to throw as much, but I don't see him one punch knocking Jake out. And, the same thing was kind of said with Logan. Like, okay, Floyd probably won't knock him out, but probably going to outbox him. I get where Dana's coming from. These things are not meant to be competitive fights. They're meant to make money and to, I guess, scratch that itch of the circus mystery unknown.
And Gervonta, I think, hits way harder than fucking Floyd. But he's too small. I mean, your brother's going to be able to, get inside on him, put his weight on him, tie him up. But I don't hate your brother. Your brother's out there doing his thing. But it cracks me up that they want to start suing people that are talking shit when your brother talks more shit than anybody talks.
I think the thought process behind it is, okay, so Jake and I are obviously pretty polarizing individuals, and when an echo chamber starts and a rumor mill starts of like staged fight bullshit, which like these fights aren't staged, that's just, it's at that level, it's like almost impossible. I think they think that it affects the business and it affects the brand because people discredit him as actually having legitimate bouts. I think that's the theory. So to hold people accountable for
legitimate,
perpetuating
meaning,
the rumor.
Legitimate meaning not fixed.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And
which is, I mean, again, Dana would do the same thing if his company became known for doing fixed fights when they weren't. Then he would try to find the same way to hold people accountable if they were reputable people saying that, right? So the whole Jake suing people for blatantly trying to say he fixes fights or he stages fights or people have no knockout clauses and all the other bullshit, I understand. Now, again, people need to use their words more accurately if they're upset about what Jake is doing. All you have to do, if you're upset with the way Jake is moving in his career, is say, what some people do say, which is, we like to see Jake challenge himself. We don't want to see these exhibitions, these fights that don't make sense for what you said you want to do or what you purport to want to be in the sport of boxing, which is a world champion. We want to see you fight active fighters around your skill level. That's it. But you can't go on there and go, oh, look, another rigged fight. Oh, look, another fake fight. Oh, look, he's staging another one.
Critics of Jake Paul argue that his rapid rise in the boxing world isn't just fueled by marketing. It's also built on a controversial approach that many see as disrespectful to the sport's history. They point out that Paul often brings retired legends back into the ring with the lure of massive paydays, a tactic that some believe undermines boxing's integrity. Even legendary names like Mike Tyson have been drawn back for these kinds of events. While the spectacle excites fans, it also raises serious safety concerns. The line between entertainment and exploitation becomes increasingly blurred when aging icons agree to fights they likely would have avoided during their prime. Although the financial rewards are undeniable, critics warn that this trend risks turning boxing into more of a carnival sideshow, where the reputations and health of retired fighters are put on the line. Jake Paul has built his brand by operating on this edge of danger. But many see it as evidence that he's willing to bend long-standing traditions to keep the spotlight on himself.
Perpetuating the rumor.
Legitimate meaning not fixed.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And
which is, I mean, again, Dana would do the same thing if his company became known for doing fixed fights when they weren't. then he would try to find the same way to hold people accountable if they were reputable people saying that, right? So again, the whole Jake suing people for blatantly trying to say he fixes fights or he stages fights or people have no knockout clauses and all the other bullshit, I understand. Now, again, people need to use their words more accurately if they're upset about what Jake is doing. All you have to do, if you're upset with the way Jake is moving in his career, is say what some people do say, which is, we like to see Jake challenge himself. We don't want to see these exhibitions, these fights that don't make sense for what you've said you want to do or what you purport to want to be in the sport of boxing, which is a world champion. We want to see you fight active fighters around your skill level. That's it. But you can't go on there and go, oh, look, another rigged fight. Oh, look, another fake fight. Oh, look, he's staging another one. Right? That's the thing that's, again, false. So I get it. I get why they're upset, but I also get why people categorize it the way they do. You just got to be better with your words. That's it.
And not many of the fights are legitimate fights, but not being fixed.
Hey,
you hit me here and I hit you there.
Yeah, I mean, Dana, that's insane.
I agree.
Like, let's choreograph.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if people are fucking saying stupid shit? People say dumb shit about me, my business, all the time.
True.
Former world champion Sean Porter came to Gervonta Davis's defense regarding his decision to take part in an exhibition match against Jake Paul, suggesting that critics are overlooking the bigger picture. According to Porter, this fight isn't about proving who's the best in the ring. It's about securing financial stability for Davis and his family, because it's an exhibition. The bout operates under agreed-upon rules and safety precautions, which lowers the risks compared to a professional contest. The primary goal is entertainment, not rankings or legacy. Porter stressed that boxers have relatively short careers, and it's essential for them to capitalize on opportunities that bring both visibility and financial benefits. From this viewpoint, Davis stepping into an exhibition with Paul isn't a sign of selling out. It's a smart business move that ensures his future while delivering a spectacle for the fans. Porter's comments underline the ongoing tension between boxing purists who focus on legacy and the fighters themselves, who must also plan for life after the sport.
They're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like they're talking like, I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh damn.
They're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better distinction, the more of a difference.
Right.
There might be less hate on it, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to tell Tank not to take that fight.
We've reached the end of today's breakdown. Stay tuned for more updates soon.